Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Conservative Voice of the People show. My name is Bobby Strauss, and today we have a very special guest, Vernon Robinson, who is the campaign manager of the National Draft Ben Carson for President Committee. So, Vernon, welcome to the show.
Hey, Bobby. We're glad to be on it.
So I'd like to begin, if we could, by just hearing just a little bit about your background.
Well, I attended that school for wayward boys down there 55 miles south of you at the United States Air Force Academy, and graduated in 77, commissioned, served active duty, became a college professor, got involved with school choice, education reform, elected to the city council, raised a lot of money, ran for the Congress 3 times and lost, worked on the 92 Bush 41's re-election attempt, and was a political appointee in his administration in the education department. So that's the quick and dirty, and I'm in the job as campaign director because I can raise money and use technology to assist volunteers.
Okay, well,
organize.
Vernon, I'm
a big community organizer.
Okay, fantastic. I want to ask you a few questions, and I'd like to start off I think at the core of all of this is you set up this campaign for Dr. Carson to run for president, and we'd really like to know sort of a big picture of why Dr. Carson. Why is he the one that you think would be the best person to run our country?
Well, the first requirement for a GOP candidate is whether or not they can beat Hillary Clinton. And while Barack Obama is not going to be back, the electorate that elected him twice will in 2016, so that the GOP candidate has to be able to broaden the base of the Republican Party and stay true to its conservative principles at the same time. There are some fellows who can broaden the base of the party, like Christie, Rubio, and Bush 45, but they want to throw large parts of the conservative base overboard on issues like immigration, and marriage and abortion and a couple other things. There are good guys who are loyal or true to conservative principles, but they can't broaden the base. So that you have to do both at the same time, and Dr. Carson's the only one who can do that. And he'll get over 17% of the black vote, and at that point, Hillary loses every swing state. And the Democratic Party and the progressive left is really wrecked as an institution down ballot to dog catchers. So that's reason number one. Reason number two is that Dr. Carson can calmly, you've seen Dr. Carson calmly and effectively communicate conservative issues and positions so that the average voter can understand them. That is very important. A political message needs to be simple enough for the cows to get. And if you can't do that, then you're in bad shape. And going against the progressive left. And finally, after 5.5 years of the current regime dividing Americans in every way possible, Dr. Carson is probably the only guy in either party who can bond with all of the American people and heal the nation. So that is the rationale for Dr. Carson's candidacy as the only guy who can beat Hillary or whoever the left puts up.
Well, great. The other question we wanted to ask you is, as the National Committee to Draft Ben Carson manager, what's going on right now? How did you form this committee, and how are things progressing?
Well, it was formed in August 22nd. The first check came in. It was formed just before that, and since then we raised $722 million, closing out the 30th of June, the second quarter report. In those 3 quarters, we beat Ready for Hillary back in total number of donors and total amount of money raised. We went over $1 million for the first time in the second quarter, in a single month, and almost went over in all 3 months. It was $3.3 million raised in the second quarter, which really put us ahead of the game. Since I was hoping to raise $8 million, and we've raised $7.2, so we'll raise $8 million by the end of this month, and then we still have a number of months left in 2013. At the same time, it's a grassroots organization. We have 15,000 volunteers, 300-some thousand people have signed the petition asking Dr. Carson to run. And, when we started off, a lot of people ask me, is Dr. Carson going to run? And I tell them that I'm not in the crystal ball business. I'm in the change the objective reality on the ground business. And the objective reality is that Dr. Carson believes that you can't just look in the mirror and say, honey, I think it'd be great if we were in the White House. That the office, as the founders thought, the office should seek the man, and the American people have to call you to run for president. And so we think that a nice round seven-figure number is 1 million names, email addresses, and phone numbers. We send 6,000 petitions over a week so that he knows this isn't an idea that 30 drunks came up with at a bar. There are literally hundreds of thousands of Americans clamoring for him to run for president of the United States. And, and we want to encourage your listeners to get involved at www.runbenrun.org. As I said, this is the fastest growing patriot organization in the country. We executed between the 29th of May and the 8th of June, we executed 35 events in 13 states, almost all with volunteers. I mean, we have a small cadre of 4 regional political directors, myself, and an administrative assistant. But obviously you can't do 35 events with thousands of people showing up at these events. Mm-hmm. Beat the governor of Texas at this Texas State Convention, 7,000 delegates voted to Dr. Carson second, behind Ted Cruz and in front of Rand Paul and Rick Perry, all of whom spoke at the convention, and Dr. Carson was 700 miles away at a book tour stop. So it is a volunteer intensive organization, for instance. If you go to the website and leave a message, a volunteer will answer you, a live volunteer will answer you within a day, many days, same day. Tens of thousands of contacts have been answered in that fashion. And, we don't use board paid callers. We don't have offshore Filipinos answering the phone. We have live volunteers to send messages back to people, mm-hmm. Encouraging them to get involved.
With respect to, I'd like to change gears just a little bit with respect to some of the issues. So certainly there's fiscal issues, and Dr. Carson spends a lot of time talking about that and the Constitution and where we're headed with regard to that. I'd like to just get your sense of the social issues, in particular life, because that seems to be an issue that Republicans, conservatives shy away from. And what's your sense in terms of your view on that issue and your sense on Dr. Carson's?
Well, I'm solidly pro-life, and so is Dr. Carson. In fact, I received an invitation to an Eagle Court of Honor, and my own Court of Honor and my brother's Court of Honor were something to be celebrated, and usually you celebrate this Court of Honor, but this invitation was bittersweet because 17 years before I got that invitation, my cousin Rosalie was diagnosed with stage 3 stomach cancer during her pregnancy. The doctor said, we can terminate the pregnancy and treat the cancer, or you can take the pregnancy to term, in which case you will have a healthy baby and you will die. And she chose the second choice and passed away a month after the future Eagle Scout was born. So